So if you're, so let's not go back and say everything we've said, but I was like, oh no, I forgot to hit the button. Oh, I got to be back on the screen, don't I?
No worries. Better late than never.
Yeah, all the good stuff, right? There are some risks in oversharing. There is a question of personal safety. I think this is particularly a problem for women, more so than for men. You don't want to necessarily give out your location. There are privacy issues, sharing non-professional information. It could be confusing to your brand image if you're oversharing. Like I say, if you're taking pictures of all the meals you eat out, if you're getting politics and religion inappropriately mixed in, could marginalize you from people. It lets people know you, but within reason. Only share what is part of your PR plan. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I watch a lot of folks on YouTube, and there's one lady who lives out in the mountains on her own, and a guy showed up at her campsite, and she's by herself with this guy. It can be creepy. I think the best advice I have heard from women who have discussed this with me is that always tell people what you did, not what you're going to do.
Right.
Don't announce that I will be here next week. It first of all tells everybody that your house is empty, and it also lets people know where you're going to be if you're going to be in any way vulnerable. If it's not a managed event, tell people where you've been, not where you're going. Anybody else want to have any feelings about this? I just think it's important to say, yes, you should share, but you've got to take care of yourself. You're broadcasting this out to the world.
I was robbed from my studio, but the people obviously didn't know me as an artist. They were working at the elevator, and I had the studio like at the upper floor. And there were tons of framed paintings because I was preparing for an exhibition. And the funny thing is that they actually robbed me of the painting I was working on, which was a biggest self-portrait I have ever done. And if somebody sees it and can redeem, like can give it back, I suffered so much. Like the painting I was working on, can you imagine?
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's you. You're watching them every day.
So that's an interesting experience. Otherwise, there's nothing that you can take from the house.
I know that when we set up our business, the government requires that you put down your address. And at the time, we didn't have a studio. So I had put down my home address. So all of our legal documents show my home address. I hate that we did that, but I was too naive at the time to know that was not a good thing to do. So when we're looking at our PR plan, we looked at our situational analysis, we did those 3 questions, and now we need to create some goals. This is probably the most important thing to do, and for me, it's often the most difficult. What do you want to do? You need, and I throw down some examples here. You want to increase press coverage. Do you want to drive traffic to exhibitions? Do you want to track collaborations? What is it you want? And you're going to have to express that through goals. But the important thing about goals is that they be SMART goals. Deborah, you want to talk a little about SMART goals?
Right. We decided to put the words with them: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. I think the hardest part of all of this is measurable.
Yes. For us, anyway.
For us, anyway.
So if you're going to apply that specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, which spells out SMART, how's this for a goal? And I hear people say this all the time, and I'm sure you do too. I just want to become famous and get a lot of attention for my work. Great. I want that too. how's that as a goal? Is pretty bad. I mean, there is absolutely no way you're going to be able to track your success with a goal like that. So let's see, if I wanted to grow social media engagement for my art business, my goal might look something like, over the next quarter, over the next 3 months, I will increase the average engagement rate, likes, shares, and comments on my Instagram posts by 15%. That is very specific. It is measurable. It's
Right.
timely. I mean, a very, a defined period of time. It's achievable. I could say I would like to be a ballet dancer, but we all know that that's not achievable at my age and weight. So you can become much more specific, and it actually requires that you understand the measurement bit, because if you're going to track increase by 15%, you've got to know where you started. So you have to do that work before you get started. Let's say you wanted to say, over the next month, I will develop a content calendar for 2026, focusing on behind the scenes posts on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. That gives me a very, very specific thing, though all I'm creating is a plan. I'm developing a calendar. I'm not actually doing the work in this goal. I'm just getting it set up. And maybe that's enough to get started. So goal planning is important, but it's very, very specific.
So
What
creating,
happens?
Sorry, go ahead.
What happens if, for example, I place a goal which I think it's achievable in 1 year, but after 1 year I find out that it didn't work. So all the year was gone from this point of view.
Whose goal is this?
My goal, for
What
example.
happens if you don't meet your goal?
Well, I would be very disappointed, obviously.
Absolutely nothing happens. You learn. These are living documents. And one of the problems I used to have is that I would set up this love, because I was a librarian for years, and I will set up a very sophisticated, lovely spreadsheet, a planning tool, and I wouldn't do it. And I would say, oh, I'm just a disaster. And I would just beat myself up over that. But that's not the point. The point is the planning. And the point is, if you realize that your goal was unachievable or too vague or whatever, you tweak it, you fix it, and you add it to the next year's goal, and you get that much better. There's no wrong answer when you're dealing with your own goals and objectives. You can look and say, okay, I need to make this much money, or I have to sell my house. Those are realistic problems. But the planning bit, that's your document. You can change it as often as you like. You can be terrible at it, and you don't have to tell another living soul that you've done it. But that doesn't mean you should not do it. You know what I mean? Because to not do it means that you're not planning at an optimal rate. And the success is why you do the goals. That's how you track success. And it's like building muscle. You have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you get the results that you want. And if one thing doesn't work, you pivot and do something else.
yeah, they're very organic in that, one goal normally leads to another. Even if you can't achieve a certain goal, it kind of gets you thinking, and maybe you'll branch into a different direction. And it's great to have these goal discussions with other artists.
In a non-judgmental way. Nobody, I always find it hard to understand when artists believe that other artists are their competition.
Right.
Because they're not. I mean, yes, there are, in the sense that you're all trying to sell to the same public, but my art's not your art, and my path's not going to be your path, and I'll have strengths and weaknesses, and you'll have strengths and weaknesses, and to be able to talk about it, to me, is the thing that really carries us through, because we don't have associations so much like in other businesses and other fields of work. We're kind of on our own generally.
I think this is very specific for Romanian to be so competitive. I
Mhm.
didn't have that feeling in other countries, like not this much. So I personally left my native city, which is Bucharest, because I couldn't be, I couldn't live in that constant competition anymore.
Yeah, we've spoken to artists who have told us point blank they don't want to talk to another artist. That one actually described it as, we are gladiators. We are fighting to the death one another. And I thought, wow, that must be incredibly isolating. Now, I do realize the art market in Romania, in particular, if you're going to look in Bucharest, because the rest of the country is probably different. It's a very small pie, right? A piece of pie. Whereas in the other countries, you might have a much larger art market. But yeah, I can see why being in that kind of environment would be very, very crushing.
I don't know. I really have the feeling we have a lot of good artists,
Oh yeah.
a lot more than the Western Europe, and I think
Mhm.
we have a lot of them. So I don't agree. I think we have a good development in the number of galleries and artists, and what is going on right now in Bucharest. Is showing that, but maybe it's a post-communist approach that we still, like, all the people still want to fight for everything. And even I sense it myself, like my only goal is to still be an artist, a studio artist next month.
Mhm.
And if I don't make it to my financial goals 1 month, I know, I'm out of here. I have to get a job or do something else. So every
Yeah.
month I fight. Every month it's the same goal. It doesn't change. It's one and only.
By the way, I do want to say I was not insinuating that there aren't great artists, and not lots of them. I think what's going on in Romania right now is amazing. So many great artists, but I just meant that the buying public is smaller.
Oh,
You have
yes.
fewer options to sell, and
Yeah, I think
therefore there's more competition.
it's not balanced like in other countries. I think we
Right.
actually have a lot more like traditional artists.
Yeah.
Other countries, they reorient to other careers.
Mhm.
Yes, and the market is still very low.
Yeah,
I
and
would
it's
say,
in Bucharest it's quite oversaturated. We are
Yeah.
much more artists and galleries than
Yeah.
actual buyers and collectors.
And that's true, for example, in where I live in Houston. Houston is a big city. There's lots of money here, but there's not a lot of people buying art. And the people that do buy art, they buy it in New York or Paris. They have the money to travel and buy from other places. So it's very strange. But I have the option of driving, to California, or driving to New York. That's harder to do when you're crossing international borders. To get to Berlin or get to Paris or wherever it is you're going to try and sell your work.
But John, I saw that you have your own studio there with Bogdan, and sometimes you host open studios events, right?
We are in a studio complex in this particular building, and Deborah's in the same building as we are. This building has 60 art studios, and there are 6 buildings. So there are almost 400 studios in a period
wow.
of 2 or 3 blocks. which, you say, okay, there's a lot of competition. However, it's a center, so it draws people. So we have open studios every second Saturday and third Saturday, which was last Saturday and next Saturday. And some of us are here every day. But it gives us we are a destination for people looking for art in Houston. Yeah, it's quite a nice place to be. And it gives us notice. People can find us. It gives us some structure, because there are bathrooms and there's parking and there's security and there's air conditioning, there's Wi-Fi. I don't have to worry about all that stuff. If I tried to open my own store, then I would have to do all those things on my own.
And we come together as a group and we'll host events, so we can pool our money and resources and our email accounts and things like that. That's helpful.
Yeah, it's a great option if you got it.
It sounds very efficient. I have, since a few months, I have my studio in a factory where there are a few more artists who have their studios as well. And we are planning on organizing open studios events, but we didn't do the first one yet.
Yeah, it can be huge, because people are looking for an experience. And it kind of goes to what Maya was saying earlier. People are looking for a community. They're looking to belong to something. That's why people went to Andy Warhol's factory. They were looking for this hang out with the artists and to have those experiences. That's a big part, I think, of what collectors are looking for.
The world is my studio.
There you go.
No, I actually built my studio from scratch in the rural area. And I love it. I love it because I have my feet on the ground, and I can have my garden and be inside and out at the same time. That's one dream accomplished. So
there you go. Keep that going. Great. So as we look at our plan, we've done our situational. Now we need to do some goals. So your homework is to write down 3 to 5 SMART goals for PR goals for your art business. So that's your homework for next week. And again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build this 8-point PR plan. And this is just the next step in doing that. So next, we'll be talking about key messages, then target audiences, strategies and tactics, some sort of timeline, a budget, and an evaluation. Those are the 8 points that we're working toward. And we're on point 2. Anybody have any questions or concerns? I'm looking at the time here.
no.
I'm grateful for the offering you're giving us.
Oh, delighted. It's not just giving, it's learning. I mean, the reason we wanted to do this is to understand better what people are looking for and what they need. And hopefully the conversations can help that happen. So if we're looking back over what we've talked about, we said that artists need to be public people. You need to share your life and your art to help connect buyers with your brand. There are risks in sharing too much, and that goals are essential to any PR plan, but in any plan in general, but certainly a PR plan. This is the evaluation part. Anything we've forgotten? Anything that we need to do to make this session better? Anything you're still wondering about that we didn't cover?
And if you think of something later, you could bring it up in the next session.
Absolutely, or contact me directly. That's fine too.
I think I would like to hear a bit more your opinions on or your ideas on how we could approach the press during the times when we don't have an exhibition that will open soon. during other periods? How we can approach them to have an interview about us or an article about us, because I feel like normally the press approaches you, right, when they want an interview from you.
Nah. I mean, obviously, if you're doing something amazing or you're famous, but I think a lot of times it's your press release that gets their attention.
Right.
Bogdan just went to Argentina. I sent a press release, and one of a magazine took his press release exactly and just posted it in their magazine.
But you went with in Argentina for a residency or an art project, an exhibition?
Bogdan went, he was invited there to do part of Photo Fest, and he did an exhibition
I saw
there,
that.
and he did some classes and various things. He was kind of a guest artist. But yeah, we approached the press, and and there are times that we will actually approach the press and they will say, yeah, we'll be there. I had a guy come to interview me at an event that was going on. And then when he got there, there were other things that were more interesting. So he didn't talk to me, he talked to them. I was like, yeah, glad I could help.
But for Argentina, what did you send to the press? A press release?
Yes, I sent a press release to them, and then I sent sample articles to a lot of magazines, none of whom, to my knowledge, picked them up. But the press release was picked up by at least one.
Behind the press, there's people again. So
exactly, and they're very, very busy.
If you want to have a press release from your Spain experience, then I know someone, and Mirella will know someone, and you just write something, and we'll all send, and they will pick it up. And I think that's the way it works. Yeah.
And it's also amazing, as I mentioned, you can have kind of a rough outline, put it into ChatGPT and tell it, I want to write a press release, and it'll write you a press release. It's amazing. And then you can translate it into Spanish or whatever other language you like. The letter I did for you, Laura, I put through ChatGPT and it put it into French.
Yeah, now I'm also using it a lot. In the last few months, I used it a lot for applications, to refine certain texts, to translate. It's very useful.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So cool. We will certainly talk about that later in the sessions, but we can bring that forward a bit because I think we talked a little bit last week that as an overall part of your plan, as you calendar out what you're doing, you will know when those periods are when you don't have a big exhibition, nothing really hot is going on. And that's where you could be targeting writing articles or creating your own event or whatever it is to get some attention to that. And you develop relationships with the press as well. And they tend to respond better once they know who you are. So it's a dance you have to do with them and start building some relationships with not only media, but also with writers who are doing critical work in the art world, curators and art critics and things like that. Those relationships are going to get you attention. And at the end of the day, attention is what we're all seeking.
Or maybe you don't like dancing.
Maybe you don't like dancing. So try a different approach. Anybody else have any comments, evaluations? We want to make these as interesting as possible and as useful as possible. If not, you can let me know. I put the resources in all of these, and I will send you the slides. So if you wanted to get to anything that we've talked about, you can get to the same information I got to and some of the details that I've used. Great. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. We are going to meet next week. I will be, both Bogdan and I will be in Bucharest at this time next week. So we will be sleepy because we will be right off the plane that afternoon, but we should be settled by 8 p.m. So looking
Have a
forward to
safe
seeing you
trip.
guys in Romania.
Yeah, I
We'll be
won't
there
be here next Wednesday.
I'm sorry?
I won't be here next Wednesday, so sorry.
That's all right. We will record if I remember to push the button and send out the slides as well.
Definitely.
And
Magnificent.
you will be in Bucharest until the 3rd of November?
We leave the 3rd of November.
Yes.
Yes. So I try and get to Transylvania for Halloween. I just think it's great.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
John, could you send me the recording from last week?
I certainly can. Mhm. And I think I posted on the Aripa YouTube, but I'm not sure if I've done that. I'll check. But yeah,
I
I will
think it
definitely
is.
send it to you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Great. Have a great week. And my
You
only
too.
news is I got into a residency program for next March in
Oh,
Arizona.
congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah, my first one.
Congratulations.
I'm excited. So 28 days I'm staying.
Where will you be?
Wow.
It's in Superior, Arizona in the desert.
Oh,
Very
nice.
excited, very excited.
Nice.
But I have to get more information. I just got the letter yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great. So you guys have a great week. We will see you next week
I'll
from
see you in 2 weeks.
Romania. I'm sorry,
I'll see you in 2 weeks because
in 2 weeks for you.
I'm going to Portugal. Yay.
Portugal, not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. It beats where I'm head.
No.
We live in Huntsville, Texas. It's not as good as Portugal. Great. Have a lovely week and we'll see you next time.
Thank
You
you.
Bye now.
too.
Thank you very much.
Have a good
Bye.
evening.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm having a hard time shutting this down. Where's my stop the meeting? End.